Hi everyone, it's Monk here. I used to do these videos pretty consistently a couple of years ago, and then life got busy, and really I just didn't feel called or led to do them anymore. But, given this current predicament, so to speak, again, so this whole thing going on with coronavirus, COVID-19, whatever it's called, it can be a blessing, it can be a curse. Obviously, we don't like the fact that whether you think it's a hoax or not, it's causing people trouble. We don't like that, but it's if you look at just how great of a blessing it is to see how people in our country and then all over the world have mobilized and unified to help one another, protect each other, overall, like it's a really amazing thing, and it kind of shows us the power that we have if we cooperate and use our own resources and the resources we have available to us to help in whatever way, shape, or form that is. And I think that's humanity at its best, is when you're forgetting about yourself, serving others, because it's in the serving of others that you actually learn and reconnect with yourself. And that's also one of the reasons why, I guess as long as I have a little more free time, or I might keep it rolling, putting out a little bit of content, because I feel like that's a way I can serve you. So, but kind of getting to that serving, you connect with your real self, right? So you have an inner authority, your real self, which is inside of you. And a lot of times that gets drowned out by all the distractions, everything out here, all the stuff you feed yourself that gets running around in your head. It's what Jesus called the kingdom, or God inside of you. That's your true self. And your true self is always whispering, always talking to you, speaking to you inwardly, and then using the circumstances and the environment around you to give you signposts, to give you signals, to communicate with you. But it's just a matter of he who has ears, let him hear. He who has eyes, let him see. Okay, so you have to be listening. You have to be open to that experience. In a lot of cases, you have to surrender your own will, which is here, the head talking. It's like Jesus said. He said it's not what comes into a man that defiles him; it's what comes out. So let that sink in for a minute. It's interesting because you can intake all the junk you want, but you have like a processing engine. It's that kingdom inside of you. It's your real self. And if you're really heeding that voice, it can transform all of the junk that you took in. It can transform it and turn it into something beautiful. It's called alchemy. If any of y'all ever read the book The Alchemist, are familiar with the process of alchemy, it's taking one thing and turning it into something of greater value. In the legends or the myths of alchemy, it was taking lead and turning it into gold. But you have the ability in your own human technology. This is being a real human being. I know a lot of y'all think this is woo-woo weird stuff. This is just being a real human being. The ability to take everything that's coming in and transform it into something beautiful, something pure, something creative, and something that can aid the world around you. Because ultimately, in my book, that's the kingdom. That's the kingdom of God. Those of y'all who are believers, I think this is what Jesus talks about, the kingdom. The kingdom's inside of you. You manifest the kingdom inside of you, and boom, it creates a new reality, a new world around you. It's this idea of thoughts become things. All right, but you have to listen to that voice of the Spirit, the voice of God inside of you. So let that be an encouragement to you in these times. I know there's real stuff on the table. People are, work hours are being cut back. You might be down financially. You might have to be staying at home with kids and have no idea what to do with your kids. You might be in a kind of a double scenario where you're losing money because, one, you're having to stay home. Two, your kids are at home more, so it's costing more money to have them at home, and you're losing money because you're not working. I encourage you, man, go out, meet your neighbors if you haven't already. Get to know your neighbors. Get involved in something in just your little neighborhood, your apartment complex, whatever, and work together. Share your resources. If you don't have money, you don't have a lot of resources, I guarantee you there are other things you can share, right? You can give of your time. This is something, I've been in a position the last 10 years where I haven't had a lot of money. That's okay. But what I could share are time that I had, right? I could donate time to people, time to causes. I had certain skill sets and certain knowledge that I can share and use to aid people, right? So those are things you can do. If you don't have money or resources, you do have skills, you have talents, you have other things that you can offer aid and support, because we're going to need each other through this. But I want to go beyond that also, because this is going to end. This will be over. But let's remember this when times are good, quote unquote. Remember this when times are good, man. Remember what's important. For some of us, this could be one of the greatest transformations we've ever had in our lives. And you'll look back on it in fondness. So, and a lot of you who have been through something hard or traumatic in your lives, you say, yeah, that traumatic situation sucked. I've had a couple instances in my life where gone through some hard stuff. We look back on them and yeah, the situation or whatever sucked, but I look back, or you look back on it with fondness, because it's like when you're going through hard stuff, you look back on fondness is because people came together and it forced you to connect with that real part of yourself and understand what you really need, what you don't need, what's all the junk, what's all the fat you can trim out of your life, and what is really important. And I think we're at a great point as a society, as a world at large, to really see what's important. All this economic crud, test scores, all of this stuff that we worry about on the day-to-day, you're starting to see, hey, it's really not that important. When we get down to brass tacks, I think also we can be encouraged to see, like, hey, there's a whole new way we could structure society. But ultimately, in this time, let's love each other. Let's be encouragements to each other. Use this time also. You're going to have a lot of time off work. I mean, I do, so I'm putting out some content now. Use it to develop yourself, develop your family, develop things around you as well. Don't use it as time just to sit around and complain. Now, there's going to be people that are going to sit around and complain and find the bad in everything, whatever. Ignore that chatter. I'd say don't even get into arguments with people over stuff like that, because you're just giving them more fuel. The way you deal with that is just to, oh, really? That's great. That's great. Cool, man. Cool, bro. Cool story, bro. That's the way you deal with things like that. But let's cooperate. And then, as always, if you're in my area, I'm happy to help in any way I can. You can shoot me a message on here. If you got me on social media, shoot me a message. I'm happy to help you in any way I can. I look forward to maybe putting out a little more content as things get rolling here. But I was talking about that secret place inside of you, that voice, that's your true self, that God talks to you. See, I'm out here, looks like I'm out here in the middle of the woods, which I am, but this is one of my secret spots. I encourage you, find your secret spot. It doesn't have to be out in nature somewhere. For me, it's nature. It could just be, a room in your house. Get quiet and listen to what that voice is telling you. Get comfortable with it, because it really is. It's your guide. It'll be your best friend, but you gotta allow the time and allow the space for things to happen. All right, peace to y'all. Love, Monk out.